Hi, this is Dr. Rick Franks, and today's message is simple. I have a rule that I want you to think about and follow from now on. And this rule, as far as your health goes like this. It says nothing happens in your body until the brain tells it what to do. Every single cell that you have, all of your hundreds of trillions of cells that are in your body, all take messages from the brain. There are no independent contractors. Every cell that you have is an employee of your brain. Now, let me explain this and let me show you exactly how this works. I'm going to take this little rubber band right here and I'm going to put this on my finger. Now, let me ask you this question. Is this finger as healthy as it was 2 seconds ago? Now, the answer is obvious. No, there's something going on right here. My brain right now is doing things that I have no idea what it's doing. It's coming up. There's alarms going off. There's sirens going off because something has gone wrong with this right here. And the messages are now getting to the brain because the brain's in charge of the health of my body and of this finger. So now, because most of us have been brought up medically oriented from the womb to the tomb, we're taught, I'm thinking that yes, under normal circumstances, what I would do, it doesn't hurt yet, but it's a little uncomfortable. So what I would normally do, and what the average American does, is they go pop a couple aspirin, get a couple Tylenol or a couple ibuprofens, and they would take these and go to bed. Next morning I wake up, it's still there. It's not feeling too good, so I pop a couple more. And this goes on for 3 or 4 days. And I realize that it's starting to swell up a little bit. So I say, you know what, I got to go to the doctor and I got to see what's going on. So I run down to the doctor and he goes, yes, you do have some swelling right here. And so what I'm going to give you an anti-inflammatory. So he gives me a little anti-inflammatory and I tell him it's hurting a little bit. So what he does, he says, I'll give you a little painkiller too. So what the normal process is this, is that I would take these and for the next week or two, he says, yeah, the inflammation might go down a little bit, but there's still a pressure right there and there's still a problem going on. My brain is sending all kind of messages to my body. White blood cells are coming from my toes up through my body to fight off possible infections. There are all kind of things happening inside of here right now to try to heal this. But because there's a pressure right here, it's having trouble doing what it needs to do. A week goes by, 2 weeks go by, I go back to the doctor. I said, Doc, I'm having some problems right now. This thing is really starting to hurt. He says, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a steroid pack. So he gives me a steroid pack, and for the next 2 weeks, I'm taking steroids to try to reduce that. All right. 2 weeks later, as you know, as you realize, nothing's really changing here. So I go back to the doctor. I said, Doctor, we got to do something. Something's not right here. So he says, well, you're right. There's something wrong here. It's starting to hurt. All right, it's starting to hurt me. So he says, we're going to run some tests. Okay, we're going to run some tests. We're going to do a cat scan, a dog scan, all kind of different scans, MRIs. We're going to run this. We're going to do blood tests, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. Now, in the meantime, what I want you to do now, think, instead of this finger just being a finger, we're going to turn this over, and we're going to make this your brain, and here's your spine, and here's any part of the body that you want it to be. Because remember what I told you, rule number 1, nothing happens until the brain tells it what to do. So as you can see, the message cannot get from the brain to whatever part of the body you want it to be. It could be your kidney, it could be your spleen. So in the meantime, let's pretend right now, it's my leg. Okay, it's my leg. So I go to the doctor and he says, Doc, I say it's really getting stiff and sore. It's discoloring. Doctor says, we need to do some physical therapy. So I'm going to send you off to a physical therapist. So we go to the physical therapist and we exercise this thing. All right, obviously it feels better when I exercise it, but there's nothing happening. There's no changes being made. We go back to the doctor. Doc, this is not working right. He says, you're absolutely right. He says, what we're going to do is because it's so swollen, let's lance it. So we lance the thing. We get some of that old blood out of there, or maybe some infection out of there, okay? And finally, we get to the point where the doctor says, and we all know this part, we know that the doctor says, there's nothing more we can do. I tell you what we'll do. Let's just take this off, okay? We'll just take this off because you got 9 other ones and we'll do it, all right? Now, that is the norm in American thinking. I go home, I'm depressed. I'm thinking, I'm going to lose a finger. I'm going to lose part of my body. I'm going to lose my kidney, all right? Because, the doc says it's better that we do this now because if the kidney dies, we could have all kind of problems. But somewhere along the line, somebody told me, says, you might have some pressure on there that's keeping the life flow from the brain to that body. Why don't you go see my chiropractor? So I go to the chiropractor and he does an analysis on it. He does a workup and he finds that there's a pressure between the brain and that organ. He says, let me just remove some pressure and see what happens. So I go in and he gives me a chiropractic adjustment and he takes some pressure off. One adjustment. Already I feel a little bit of relief in there. He said, we're going to need more adjustments. And so we prescribed to a series of adjustments. And over a period of time, we remove that pressure in there so that the finger starts to do better. Healing starts to take place. Over a period of time, this pressure, we get all this pressure off. And even though I have all this pressure off of me right now, this finger still is not 100% of what it could be. It just takes time, patience, and persistence. But over a period of time, with the interference removed, this can heal. Now, you probably have part of your body that's not working as good. Maybe next time, instead of popping a couple pills to cover it all up, you say, maybe let me go ask my chiropractor. Maybe there's some interference in there. Remember this, nothing works until the brain tells it what to do, and your health starts with a healthy nerve system. Okay? That's how it works. My name is Dr. Rick Franks, and thanks for sitting in on my Minute to Health.